Hello and welcome to this new tutorial. Today we're going to build a CRUD app using React. So we're going to be able to watch multiple videos or lives at the same time in the same tab. And all you need is paste in the YouTube video URL or live right here and submit. And this will be added to the list. So if I try an example, so let's just bring in something from here. I'm going to copy the link address and here I'll just paste it. And there we go, I can see it. So you can edit or delete items, and the cool thing about this app is that we can choose how many items should be displayed in the grid. So if I click 3, it's going to be 3 in the same row. If I click 2, there we have it, and if I click 1, it's just going to take the whole space. So these buttons allow us to select the number of videos per row. Now this could be a handy solution if you want to watch multiple lives simultaneously. For instance, if your best 2 or 3 teams happen to play at the same time and you don't want to miss any match, you can bring their lives links and watch both of them, of course if it's live on YouTube. So that could be a typical maybe use case for journalists, for instance. Anyway, we're building this for learning purpose, so we're going to see how to add a video to the list by formatting its URL. We'll also see how to delete, edit it, and eventually how to toggle the number of boxes per row. So without further ado, let's get started. So I've got this empty and clean React app generated by Create React App. It's running on port 3014, and now the first thing I want to do is to create the component. So here I'll say live station, and then here I'll say JavaScript and another one for CSS. Okay, I'll say live station again, and here we're going to create the set of HTML elements to get started. Okay, so here we're going to have a live container which has a nav container, and this one has a form with an input, and it's going to have a number controls div. Okay, and this div is going to have 3 buttons. Okay, so I'll say, okay, let's just change this to React, and then here we're going to say number control, and I'll say times 3. Alright, now let's just format this. Alright, now these buttons will control the number of videos per row, like I said. So I'm just going to put some dummy text here, just going to put some asterisk, and then we're going to replace them with some icons. So let's see what we got there. We'll first have to bring this here, say live station. If I save it, there we go. Alright, now we should take care of this input. So here we're going to create a hook for it. So I'll say const link and then set link. It's going to be use state, and it should be empty. Then we'll handle that in the input. So here we'll say on change, I'm going to say set link to e.target.value. Now let's add a couple more things to this input. So here we'll say placeholder enter video link, and another thing is going to be the value, so we don't get overwhelmed later. So I'll say link here. Now we'll add the submit handler here. So I'm going to say on submit, here I'm going to say add link. Now just before creating this function, we're going to need an array for the list of links, so we can add each new link to that array. So here I'm going to say links here, this is going to be an array. Okay, and then I'm just going to take care of this function now. Say const equal to. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take these links and I'm going to make a copy of them, and inside this copy, I'm going to add a new link. So the way we do that, let's say, for instance, const new links is equal to the, and then here, I'm going to take the previous links, and here, I'm going to make a copy out of this original links array. Now inside this new links array, we're going to have a new item. So here it's, now each item is going to have an ID. We'll say UUID v4, and before we do that, we should install that package. Say npm I UUID. Okay. Now the second property is going to be the source, the actual link source, the actual link that we need. So let's pass in the link right here. Okay. And then here at the end, we're going to reset the links array to this new links. All right. So now we're going to need to import v4 as UUID v4 from UUID. Okay. Now to see the list of items, we're going to create a use effect so we can get the updated list of items on every change. So I'll say use effect so we can see what's going on. And here we'll say console.log links. And then here we're going to have links in the dependency array. So here I'll just type something, and I'm going to say, all right, let's just prevent this. Say e.prevent default. Okay, I've got an item. There we go. So that seems to work. Now let's try adding a real video link. So we'll head on to YouTube and grab some links. So let's take this one for instance. And then here, I'll just paste it. Okay. So here we go. I can see the link right here. Cool. Now let's display these links in the page. So underneath the nav container, we're going to add another one called main container. So right here, I'm going to say main container, and then inside it, we're going to show the list of links. So here we're going to take the links array and we're going to map, and we're going to say for each link, return this. So here we're going to say screen container. Now each screen container is going to have the actual link source. Okay, and to make a semantic React elements, let's say key, and here we say link.id. Now let's try to see that. There we go. Okay, now we're going to take each link and put it as the source of an iframe. So inside the screen container here, I'm going to say iframe. It's going to have a source, and I'm just going to leave this. And then here in the source, we're going to paste the actual link source. Okay, we've got a link warning here. Iframe elements must have a unique title, so we can just put the video ID for now. So here we say title is equal to link.id. By the way, the title is just the video title. You can get all of those properties from the embed code if you want, or we can also add another input for video title as well. But I just wanted to keep it simple and quick. Now this iframe is going to have a class called video box. Now let's just save that and see what's going to happen. Alright, there seems to be some warnings in box here. Now let's just start with this one. So we've got a warning invalid DOM property frame border. Alright, this is coming. Now in raw HTML, we write attributes in lowercase. So So this frame border should be in camel case, like that. Okay. And then it says refuse to display YouTube in a frame because it set X-frame options to same origin. And that's because this option prevents the browser from displaying iframes that are not hosted on the same domain as the parent page. And this is a security feature to prevent clickjacking, coded from Stack Overflow. So to overcome this problem, we can format the iframe source. So right here, I'm gonna replace this link with another one. So I'm gonna replace a chunk of this URL with another one. So here I'm gonna say const embed link is equal to link dot replace. I'm gonna replace, and then we're gonna replace this part of the URL. So I'm just gonna copy it and I'm paste it here, and we're gonna say equal as well, and we're gonna replace that with embed slash. Okay, and then here instead of link we'll say embed link. All right, now let's just refresh and try again. So let's say here YouTube, and there we go. Now I can see the thumbnail in the video right here. So if I play it, okay, I can play it, pause it, and I can play around with the timeline. Cool. If I say full screen, all right, it says full screen is unavailable. Well, that's a required attribute in the iframe if you want to enable it. So right here, what I'm going to say, allow full screen. And we're going to need a semicolon as well. So now if I click, okay, I'm going to need to add another item. If I click that one, there we go. I can see it in full screen. Cool. All right, good so far. Now let's see how to delete a link. So first, I'm going to add a link controls div for each link. So right here, I'm going to say link controls, and here I'm going to have a button, and it's going to say delete. Okay, and I'll say on click, we're going to run a function called delete link, and we're going to pass in a link.id. all right, now let's create this handler. So right here I'll say const, and then here we're going to say, okay, first we're going to need an ID here, and then here we're going to use the filter method to clean up the links array. So we're going to reset this links array by taking the previous links, and we're going to say links dot filter, and we're going to say for each link that has an ID different from the given one, then this link is going to be left. We're not going to remove it. Okay, now let's see if this works. So if I click on that one, there we go, it's deleted. Cool. Now we're going to add an edit feature. Basically, we're going to need an additional step compared to the delete link handler. So we're going to take the link ID, then once we found that link, we'll open a simple form to edit it. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is to create a new hook for the link ID. So here, what I'm gonna say, link ID, and then say link set link ID, and it's gonna be null at first. So this is the link ID. Now let's add one more for the link itself. It's gonna be actually a new edited link. So here, the new edited link is gonna be now for each existing link or item, we're gonna add a form, and this form is gonna be shown when the value of link ID, the link ID hook, is equal to the selected link ID. Okay, so in addition to this button, we're gonna have another one called edit, and then here we're gonna say set link ID to the link.id. So now when an item's ID is set to the link ID, we're gonna show a form so we can pass in the changes. So right after the iframe, I'm gonna check if the current link ID is equal to the current link ID hook. If that's true, we'll show the form. Otherwise, we just show the actual item. So let's just get rid of that. We don't need that anymore. So here we go. I'm gonna say link. If link.id is equal to link ID, then I'm gonna show a form, and this form is gonna be in a div called edit controls. So here we're gonna have a form and an input. Okay, and then here, now like I said, if that's the case, we're gonna show the form, else we're gonna show the link controls. So I'm just gonna move this up here. Okay, if I save that, let's just bring in another video here. Alright, if I click edit, there we go, I can see the form. Cool. Now let's handle this input. So here I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna say on change, I'm gonna set edit it link to e.target.value. Now whenever I submit, whenever I click something here and I submit, I want the selected item to be updated, and thus the links array as well. So here I'm going to say on submit, edit link, and we're gonna pass the link ID. Let's just create this function. Closed. And then here we're gonna do something similar to the delete link, like I said. So here we're gonna say const data links is gonna be equal to a copy of the links, and then we're gonna map through it. I'm gonna take each link, and I'm just gonna say if the link ID is equal to the past ID, then I'm gonna change the source to the new, then I'm gonna change this source to the new link, and then here I'm gonna say return link, this new link. Okay, and then we're gonna reset the links array to these updated links. And finally, to close the form, we're gonna need to set link ID to null again. Okay, so let's just give this a try. So let's say I want this one, and we're gonna paste it here, submit. All right, form submission canceled. If I try to log the link here, now this works. Let's just refresh. All right, the problem seems to be with the link. So the link.source should be an embed link just like that one. Okay, so I'm just gonna copy that and I'm gonna paste it here. Okay, and I'm just gonna pass it instead of this one. If I save this, refresh, and if I do that one here, okay, if I click edit and bring this one, paste it here, form submission cancel because the form is not connected. So that is the form. Fresh. All right, the actual link source should be the edited link. Okay, if I save that, let's just bring in a new video here. And if I click edit and I paste it here, all right, so it has been changed. But the problem is the same one we faced when we tried to add a link. So I'm just gonna bring this one, and I'm just gonna paste it here, and I'm gonna change the edited link to this one. Okay, and then I'm gonna pass in the embed link instead. Okay, so now if I edit again, let's bring, for instance, another one, and I'm gonna pass it here. There we go. Now it's working. Cool. Now we're gonna take care of that later. Form submission cancel because the form is not connected. Anyway, now notice when we open the form, the input is empty. Now that could be fixed with the default value attribute. So the input keeps the previous state, and we don't get that blank box. So here, I'm just gonna say default value is gonna be the link.source. Save it. There you have it. Cool. So let's add this one. Now sometimes you may want to edit a specific item and then you just change your mind. So we'll add a button to cancel the edit action. So what I'm gonna do, so here I'm gonna say button, here we're gonna say cancel, and we're gonna say on click. Whenever this is clicked, I'm gonna need something, a setter or a function that's gonna close the form. And the way we do that is by making the link ID different than this one. So all I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna reset the link ID to null. So here I'll say set link ID to null. Okay, if I save that, there you go, you can see this cancel button. Cool. So now let's take care of this warning, form submission cancelled because the form is not connected. And this is because we have added this button here inside this form without specifying its type. So when we clicked that button, React was wondering if that's the submit button or not, because it's the only button here. So we should mention that it's a button type, so it'll be ignored. So here I'll say type is going to be button. If I save it, click edit, cancel, and let's just refresh. Let's say here, if I click edit, if I click cancel, we don't get that warning. Alright, now we almost did everything. Now the next thing I want to do is to change those buttons with some React icons. So back here, I'm gonna say React icons. So I'm gonna install this package as well. So we're gonna start with the cancel button. So instead of that one, we're gonna say IOMD arrow round back. I'm gonna copy that. I'm just gonna get rid of this, and I'm gonna say okay. And I'll just go to the top here, say import this icon from React icons / IO. Okay. And the same thing for the link controls. So this one is going to be RI delete bin 6 line, and that one will be the AI fill edit. Let's just bring this one. And I'm going to paste it here. This is going to be RI. Okay, and that one as well. Say AI here. Okay, there seems to be another error. Okay, some errors actually. Need to clear this. and I'm gonna say, and that one as well. And then here we'll say the closing tag. Refresh. Okay, there seem to be some problems here. Okay, so that's the problem. Okay. React icons. There we go. If I bring in this, now I can see all of this stuff. Cool. Alright, now this looks better at some point. Now it's time to style those elements. So I'll just paste some styles here, and I'm just gonna bring them from my notes. Alright, so here, we go to this file, I'm gonna paste them here, and let's import it. Say live station.css. If I save it, there we go. Got something here. Edit. There we go. Cool. Not a big deal though, but it's a little better. Now we're gonna see how to switch between those three buttons. 1, 2, or 3 elements will be shown at one row. So it's gonna be that simple. We're just gonna play around with one CSS declaration. So if we take a look at the CSS file, we're gonna find a bunch of classes here where each class is gonna change the number of columns with CSS grid. Okay, you can see the default it's gonna show 3 videos, double 2, and single 1 item. So we're gonna start by creating a new hook. So right here, we're gonna say const row items. We're gonna set row items, and I'm gonna say use state, and the default value is gonna be the actual default class. And now I'm gonna take that row items, and every time I click a button from those controls, for example, if I click the single asterisk button, it's gonna set row items to the single class, and so on and so forth. So let's do that. So here I'm gonna say on click, I'm gonna set row items to single, and then we'll do the same thing with the rest of buttons. So here I'll say, and this one is going to be double, and this one is going to be the default. Right, now let's log this in the use effect. Okay, so here I'll say row items, and we'll say row items as well. Refresh. If I click this, it gets single, double, and default. Awesome. Now let's take this hook and put it in the appropriate place. So in the main container right here, I'm gonna leave this one here, and in addition to that, we're gonna add the row items. Okay, there we have it. Cool. So if I copy that and paste it here, now the default class is this one, is the default, which will make 3 items in the same row. If I click 2, for instance, you can see it gets a little bigger, and if I click 1, it gets the whole row. All right, so let's see what happens if I have, for example, 4 items. Let's see, 2, cool. We say 1, this is 1, and 3, and there we go. Now I'm gonna change those asterisks with some icons instead. So here instead, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna say FA square full, okay, And the first one has one single icon. The second one has a couple of them. And the third one has three. Okay. And let's just import them from React icons. It's gonna be FA. Okay. There we go. 1, 2, 3. So this is a little bit clearer. Now I just wanna clear the import after submitting a link. So back to the submit handler right here. I'm just gonna say set link to empty. Okay, if I save it, this is the link. There we go. If I hit enter, it gets cleared. Cool. All right, I think we're done. That's how you build a live station, a mini one. Thanks for tuning in and see you later.